Hey, my name is Pete. Thanks for renting our camper. I'm going to do a little how-to tutorial to run you through before you show up so you understand how everything works if you have any questions. To start off, we have a couple locks on here. So if you decide to leave your campsite and you want to lock this up, there is the hitch lock, or the D-pin lock, and there's also the trailer hitch lock. So the D-pin lock you'll use while you're towing, and this will prevent the trailer from coming off of your hitch while you're towing. These aren't always locks, sometimes they're just little pins that fit right through here. You want to come into the, yeah, okay. And then this prevents anybody from towing the camper away while you're not with it. The important thing with this is that these threaded sides have to go into this side that locks. But it's as easy as that. When you lower this onto your car, this takes a 2 5/16 inch ball, which we have, and you're more than welcome to use if you don't have that size. It's not the common 2-inch ball size. This, I don't know what you call it, but this hitch lock, I guess, pulls back like this when you lower it onto your car, and then once it's on the ball, pull it forward and then go ahead and lock this back on it, and that will prevent it from coming off of your hitch while you're towing. The two chains down here, one of them has, this is the trailer brake, like, emergency lock system. So while you're towing, if the chains break away, the trailer breaks away. The idea is that it'll lock up the axle and stop the brakes. Just tuck that into one of these S bolts. And then these may, when you hook them up to your car, they may drag a little low and drag on the ground. If they do, just twist them like this, and that'll keep and prevent them from dragging. Also, when you do hook these up under your car, cross them like this. That way, if the trailer does pop off of your hitch, it catches them, versus when they're not crossed, it will just fall straight down. And then lastly, with the towing, this is a 7-pin system. You may need an adapter if you have a straight 4. And then you're going to have to wrap this around if your electrical connection is right at your bumper. Otherwise, this cord is going to drag and it's going to break. And plug this right in, and then you'll be all set. Right here is your propane, and this cover, unfortunately, did not have anywhere to mount it to, so it's got a cam strap on it. The cam strap does need to be tightened before you haul anything, and it just simply goes all the way around here. Under this, there's 2 propane tanks. You can go over there if you want. Or even go back a little bit, okay? So whichever propane tank you're using is going to be determined off of this valve right here. This is the regulator. Chris, we put her in our fence, and she's just hanging out with our dogs right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, use the left propane tank. It's this way. If you want to use the right propane tank, it's this way. There is a little indicator on here that will be green or red. If it's red, it's empty. If it's green, it's full. So turn it to your desired propane tank, open it up, and the color will change. Then when you're towing, just tighten this back up and cinch it down. If you do need to refill the propane tanks while you're out, you can undo this cam strap, and this just lifts right off of there to replace the propane. The batteries are right here, and they shouldn't need messed with for the solar system. And we'll just continue around the outside this way. So there's a few compartments. They all open up, they all lock, so you can lock them if you decide to leave your camper. Under here is the RV septic and gray water drain pipe, which I'll show you back here in a second where that connects. Down here, there's 4 jacks that are stabilizer jacks. There's one on 2 on the front on each side and 2 on the back on each side. As we come back further, here is our 30 amp electrical outlet cord. There is a 15 amp adapter inside. I'll point that out when we get in there. And this just plugs into usually the camper electric at your campsite, or if you have an extension cord, you can use the adapter. Over here is the city water connection. Plug your hose into here and you will not need to use the pump of the camper. The water pressure from a garden hose or at campsites just screws right into here and that pressurizes the system for the shower, for the sink, for the toilet, for everything without using the pump. There's another jack right here, another stabilizer jack. Your spare tire. There's not a jack that comes with the camper to jack it up. It does say not to use the stabilizer jacks, but if you've got your car jack, you could use that with the stabilizer jacks. Back here is the satellite, if you're staying in an RV park, that you can plug, that provides you with satellite TV. You can plug that into right here, and that'll provide you with television. Here's the freshwater connection, it's called. This is just where you would stick a hose to fill up the tank. It's about a 30-gallon tank. It'll come full with your camper, but that will only last you a few days if you've got a couple people in here. And this is actually, we won't even open this, but this is the hot water heater drain. Coming over here.
You're gonna need to take a shower. You're definitely gonna need to refill your water.
Yeah, absolutely. This is some storage back here. We've got a couple camp chairs. They're the zero gravity camp chairs with the recliners. There is a gas jug back here. If you do fill this gas jug up to use the generator that's back here, do not store the gas jug back here. It's right below the bed and you're gonna smell the gas fumes and they're gonna fill the camper. So you'll need to keep it in your vehicle or outside in your truck, whatever you're towing with. These all close with this turn knob here, and then they also lock. There's a couple speakers outside, there's speakers inside. You can change the settings. There's a Bluetooth stereo in there. You can play it just inside, just outside, or both. The last compartment up here that we'll go over has the stabilizer jack tool. So this goes on here. You put it on the nut right here, and then it's right to go down. Did you get that? And then left to come back up. All of these jacks are a little crooked. They tend to catch speed bumps or dips and bend a little bit. But if you put all 4 of those down when you go and you're stomping around in the camper, it won't be moving around. We also have the tool to get the awning out. And the trick to do this is to keep this tool in line with this little knob right here as you're bringing the awning out. Otherwise it's gonna fight you. But it's pretty easy if you do that. The awning comes out pretty effortlessly. And to go back, as you can see here, it changes the angle that bolt is at. So when you go back in, just try and stay in line with that, and it'll make it a lot easier than trying to fight it. And there's also the freshwater hose in here. So you can connect this to this city water connection. Maybe ask the campsite that you're at or wherever you're at if they have high pressure. A high pressure water system will most likely burst that hose, and we don't have a reducer for it. There's also a couple electrical outlets out here if you need to plug anything in to the outside. These will only work if you have the 30 amp cord plugged into shore power. This stair pops out and pops down. There is an outside light on the inside right when you come in. And come on in and we'll show you the inside. So all the lights on the ceilings have an on-off switch. This is the outside light, and the inside, it controls a couple of the inside lights, but if you just turn both of those on and leave them on all the time, that's not a problem, and then you can turn each individual light on. On the ceiling, when you first come in, you've got a few gauges over here. One is the pump. So if you're not hooked up to a city water connection, you're going to want to turn on the pump. That allows you to use the shower, use the sink, and have water without being connected to any kind of city water. And then right next to it is the heater. So you turn that on and you'll start hearing some noise in the back. It's pretty quiet, and that'll keep the hot water heater hot. If you want to know where you're at for fresh water, what the level is, hold it down and it'll tell you right there. Same with gray, which is your sink water, black, which is your sewer water.
What do they each stand for?
It says right there. Over here, there's some storage, a couple closets. Over here as well, another one of the same size. Up here in the corner, I've got the registration for the camper, and the insurance from Outdoorsy will be up here as well. And a broom. This couch turns into a bed just by pulling up and then pulling out. And you got a sleeper bed there, probably for a smaller adult or kiddos. Right here is our inverters that are connected to the solar system. So if you have a hairdryer or something that you need to use, you can plug it into here. If you have any electronics, plug it into this red one. This is specifically meant not to damage your electronics. If you plug a computer or a cell phone into this one, no guarantees. And there's a chart here which corresponds with the level on the inverter, which tells you what your batteries are at. So typically don't like to go below 40%. It's not great for the batteries, but if it happens, that's okay. It will when it's charging in the daylight. It's going to show anywhere from 13 to 15 volts. But once we start using appliances and in the evening, it'll start dropping down and show you a little more accurate readings. An air conditioner. This works best if you keep it at the second cold setting, which it's on, and don't turn it past 5. If you turn it to 3 and go up to 7, it'll pump cold air for a little bit and then it'll freeze over. Over here we have the fridge. So this runs off electrical or propane. If you're not connected to any hookups, if you're not connected to an electrical hookup, you can use the propane setting. So this just switches back between where are we at? Right here. So this sets your propane versus your electrical or off. The instructions are down here on the bottom of the fridge for getting this started. But if you're going to use the propane, switch it to propane. There's a different dial for the propane meter versus the electric meter for your cold setting. So follow the directions on there, and it's pretty flawless getting that going. Down here is your heater. Up here is the stereo, which you just press on. It's got a Bluetooth mode if you have your phone or any other kind of device that uses Bluetooth, and the passcode is 0000. Both of these run off of the batteries. So if you're not connected to anything, you'll be able to use the radio, the heater, the pumps for the water on all the lights, as well as the stove. Microwave and air conditioner won't run without being plugged into shore power. For the stove, you need a lighter. The microwave is pretty self-explanatory. We've got this bungee cord lassoed around these two because this drawer tends to open and travel, but here you have all your utensils, cooking utensils, and here's all your eating utensils with your additional cooking utensils. All this stuff is going to come in the RV. Up here we've got kitchenware, cleaning supplies, soap, French press if you need it. Just please return all this stuff clean, but it's all included with the camper. And these overhead cabinets is storage space for food or whatever you would like to put in there. Over here, while you're traveling, please keep this bungee cord on the TV or it will end up coming out, but this TV does have an adjustable arm that comes out. There's no DVD player. However, this is connected to the antenna on the roof. So if you're somewhere that you'll pick up some channels, you can watch TV. The remote control's in the bottom drawer, and there's an antenna booster right here. That little red light will come on to boost your signal. So we'll get that back. The heater is right below it. It doesn't have a temperature setting, but it's pretty close with where the off is to about 50 and where the warmer is to about 90. So click it on. The heater will come on shortly after, as long as the propane's on. It does run off of propane. Getting this set up, we will, this is also a bed that can sleep 1 or 2 people. This just pops right off, and these fit right into here. The easiest way to get these is to kind of jiggle and twist them out. Set them down right there. In this, under this is some storage if you need to put some extra things. We've got a little extra space in here. Kitchen pots and pans for cooking are under here. Unfortunately, they wouldn't fit anywhere else. And a water container if you need to fill up the camper at any future point or get some drinking water. You can drink the water in here if you want to. We put filtered water in the bottle and we drink that. On this side are all the sheets and blankets to accommodate all of the beds. All of the mattresses back here have covers on them, which we'd like to keep on there. All the sheets for everything else and blankets and pillows are under here. So setting up this as a bed, this table just slides into here on the 2 ledges. And then you can kind of arrange these cushions however you want, but they will fit in there like that. And now we've got ourselves a bed here. Coming to the back, the bathroom has a light as well with a switch in it. There's a hand washing area here. Under the sink is some storage with some towels, hand towels, toilet paper. There's a toilet seat cover and a mat if you like it. Another outlet back here, hair dryers or whatever. This opens from the right side and you can store toiletries and other things in there. And coming back to the bathroom, there is a small bathtub. This probably would take about 10 gallons of water, which would be about a 30-year tank. There's a vent back here, which you just turn the knob to open, and it's got an on-off switch as well. So bathroom fan. Hot and cold water. Shower works fine. The toilet has a foot pedal. So if you are going to use the restroom to flush, you hit that handle and it'll flush it down. If you're gonna go number 2, it works best to crack that handle with your foot about halfway and fill it up with a little water first. And then once you're done, you can push it down all the way. But pushing it down just a little bit will fill up the toilet with water. And then the beds, I think this is the final process. There's the twin bunk bed up top. And then this is probably somewhere in between a full and a queen down here. Unfortunately, the back window doesn't open. But it does provide some light. You have the curtains back here to have a little privacy from your kids or from whoever's back there. And I think that is about the end of the tour. Anything else, babe, that you could think of?
How to drain the septic.
Oh, yeah. Let's go outside and show you how to drain the septic. So once you're all done with everything, it's got it labeled here, your black tank and your gray tank. And what you're gonna wanna do is there's one cap, it just twists off like that and then pops off of there. And you will drain your black water first, which is right here, by opening this valve out and then close that and then come over here to your gray water, pull this valve out, drain your gray water, go ahead and close that, put the cap back on, and then you're all set. That's it. You can run some water through. A lot of the drain stations will have hoses, and you can run a little water through the toilet, or you can turn the pump on and run some water through the sink. That'll kind of help clean things out and clean the septic hose out as well. Have any questions? Feel free to message me, call me. You'll have our phone number by the time you're coming to rent the camper. Thanks.